This audit looked at whether the management of native vegetation clearing is protecting state and nationally significant native vegetation in the extended urban growth boundary areas. We focused on the Melbourne Strategic Assessment, or MSA. Under this program, Victoria committed, in an agreement with the Australian Government, to establish 2 grassland reserves by 2020. These are designed to offset native vegetation lost due to development in Melbourne's extended urban growth boundary. We examined how the Department of Environment, Land, Water and Planning, or DELP, is implementing this program. We found that DELP has not met its commitments to deliver the 2 grassland reserves by 2020. Delays in acquiring land and continuing threats of degradation pose risks to the ecological values of native vegetation within the reserves. These delays also mean they will likely require a greater investment to restore and retain these ecological values than if the lands had been purchased within the intended 10-year timeframe. Recent regulatory changes are likely to help DELP deliver Victoria's commitment to establish these reserves and provide it with better information about its progress in achieving conservation outcomes. However, current governance arrangements cannot effectively oversee the program's future delivery and manage risks because they do not include all delivery partners, nor separate oversight from management. The natural temperate grasslands and the grassy eucalypt woodlands of the Victorian volcanic plain are 2 of our most important and biodiverse ecological communities. Prior to European settlement, they covered over a third of Victoria. But land clearance, changes in land use, and weed invasion means that less than 5% remain. Protection is vital to ensure their future existence. To help address this, the Victorian and Australian governments streamlined environmental approvals and committed to the MSA program's grassland reserves. To purchase land for the reserves, DELP collects fees from developers. DELP aims to achieve full cost recovery of the MSA program by 2062. To date, only 10% of designated land has been acquired for the Western Grassland Reserve. No land has been acquired for the grassy eucalypt woodland reserve. DELP is keeping pace with development, protecting 2 hectares in the reserve for every 1 cleared. However, it can't demonstrate that the quality of lands purchased matches that of lands cleared. Most of the land acquired will need intensive management. Delays in acquiring land have been compounded by cost increases. Estimated program costs have increased around 80% between 2013 and 2019, mostly due to rising land values. However, DELP has not raised habitat compensation fees since 2013, limiting available funds. Managing land designated for a reserve but still privately held is a challenge for DELP, particularly as weed infestation can degrade ecological values. DELP can't access this land to do assessments or weed management without owner consent. Although DELP has implemented weed control programs, take-up has been low. DELP was slow to put MSA governance arrangements in place, and changed them several times. This has limited their effectiveness, meaning DELP has missed key oversight activities, or not always performed them consistently or to expected standards. DELP's monitoring of program outcomes is done with scientific rigor. It has clear key performance indicators with measurable benchmarks. However, its output performance indicators do not have targets to generate meaningful data. The slow acquisition of land has also constrained DELP's ability to assess and monitor land within the reserves. Together, these issues mean that the costs to acquire all land designated for the reserves and restore and retain that land's ecological values will likely be far greater than initially expected. Recent changes to the MSA's regulatory framework, including increases in the fees developers pay, aim to address the program's cost recovery. Current developer fees will be replaced with an environment mitigation levy and implementation controls introduced to ensure comprehensive independent monitoring. This will strengthen program accountability and transparency while making it more likely that DELP will be able to deliver the grassland reserves as offsets. We made 7 recommendations to DELP, 2 on managing privately held land, 2 on establishing the reserves and collecting data on the condition of private land earmarked for the reserves, and 3 on oversight, performance monitoring, and communications. For further information on this audit, please see the full report on our website, www.audit.vic.gov.au.